It will be a big test tonight, and for Alabama to win, they're going to have to find a way to slow down Aaliyah Boston, who's coming off by far her best game of the season in the win against Florida.
And Aaliyah Boston has done a lot this season to get prepared. One of the big things right there, you see her spacing out, spreading the floor, finding the open pass. Of course, on the offensive end, you see down here, not only can she get down low and score, but now she's leading the break. And of course, if that wasn't enough, one of the big things that she worked on, her outside shot and being able to stretch the defense.
For 28, her previous season high was 14 points. There is plenty for South Carolina to deal with. Alabama, a veteran team led by Jasmine Walker, an inside and outside threat.
Jasmine Walker continues to just develop her game. She has turned into not just a shot maker, but she's become a scorer, being able to focus inside, outside. This is something that we know she can do. She can step it out. She can blast from the outside all day, all day.
It is a triple threat for South Carolina. Their seniors, Walker, Jordan Lewis, Araya Copeland leading the way. Copeland is second in the country in field goal percentage. Lewis, the active assist leader in the SEC. Alabama 8-0, 1-0 in conference play after a road win at Mizzou. South Carolina 1-0 in conference play and 6-1 overall on the season. We will start the game with two officials, Dee Cantner and Cameron Inouye. Angelica Suffren delayed getting to Tuscaloosa. We do expect her to join the crew in-game, so we'll go old school, Tamika. Two officials back to your playing days.
I believe that Dee Cantner has it all under control.
South Carolina in the road black with the first possession.
And one of the things you'll see Alabama right off the bat, see how they double down low, but they are so good in their matchup zone offense. They sometimes play matchup. It looks like a man-to-man, but it might look like a zone as well.
Starting five, we mentioned the seniors, Lewis and Copeland and Walker. Hannah Barber may be the most improved player in the SEC. We get an early look for her from three. She can't get it. And Henderson tracks down the rebound for South Carolina. Zaya Cook with it in the corner. She's the leading scorer for South Carolina, and 19 points a game, went for a season-high 26. That followed a season-high 23 the game prior to that against Temple. In other words, Zaya Cook is on fire at the moment.
Definitely the player that you have to guard. You can't go under. You have to have a hand on her face. She's so creative. She's quick. That first step, you got to be right there to guard her.
Walker loves shooting a three. That one won't drop. 41% from outside the three-point line. Bree Beal with a wide open look. Austin tries to work inside on Copeland.
And I love the patience that Boston just showed in that. You know, one thing that she struggled with over time is when she gets crowded, she rushes her shot. She tried to shoot too fast, but you can tell that that's something they've worked on, is just the patience.
Walker will try it from the other wing. Same result. Henderson. So quick, and they'll count the basket. A chance for a three-point play for Destiny Henderson. Coming off a career-high 9 assist game for Dawn Staley. You know Dawn puts a premium on point guard play and guard play in general because, well, she played at a high level, as we all know, and she's coaching at a high level. But she said, Tamika, South Carolina's strength right now is their guard play. Destiny Henderson, Zaya Cook, they're seeing each other. There was a time where the coaching staff wondered if they could play well together, but right now they're feeding off each other. And once it clicks, it's really great to watch any guard combination come together like that.
Exactly, Eric. And one of the things, and you look at what they had last year, Ty Harris being out there, they never had to really figure out how to play together. Now they're on the floor, and this team needs them to be on the floor together. And when it clicks, it's going to look really, really good.
Alabama has missed their first 4 field goal attempts. Saxton, count that, and the foul. Victoria Saxton, a chance for a three-point play and a great start on the road for South Carolina. Christy Curry loves the way her team's played so far, and if you go back to last season, Tamika, the way they finished last year, they finished on a high note. They've won 12 of their last 13 games, so it is carried over to this year, but she's the first to admit, when you're playing South Carolina, you are bringing in a whole different level of challenges for your team, and they're facing some tough challenges already in the early going. Lewis answers back like a senior should, and the foul.
But you know, one of the things with Coach Curry, when she talked about her team, the excitement that she has and just how she talked about them. Of course, Jordan Lewis is one of those players that she's constantly raving about and want to continue to step up. You know, she's one of their leaders. The extension of what Coach Curry is as a coach on the bench, she's trying to implement and instill that in Jordan Lewis.
One thing that Alabama does very well, and they've done a lot of things well in the early going this season, is make their free throws. They're 7th in the country, 1st in the conference, better than 81% from the line.
So interesting, we talk about free throws, and it's almost become a lost cause. You know, you got some teams that are shooting 60% and low 60s, mid 60s. I don't remember that. I remember as a player, 80s was about the low bar, like that was setting the bar low.
Beal fighting inside, so good on the glass. The sophomore gets her first points, averaging 7 a game. Well, one thing for Alabama, they cannot keep missing easy opportunities in the paint. You see the numbers for the free throws. They've got to make some contact. They've got to get to the free throw line, and they've done a very good job of doing that, but they've missed a couple of wide open looks against South Carolina, and you can't do that against the Gamecocks.
I think it's hard too when you're playing a team like South Carolina. They already have the presence. You know, you talk about teams having that presence. They have the aura. They have what Dawn Staley. When you look at Coach Staley, she has that it factor, and I feel like all her teams have that too. So I think Alabama, they come to the game, not that they don't have confidence that they can win this game, not that they don't have confidence in how good their team is, but sometimes you have those pregame jitters. Get the game going, you get inside, you miss some easy buckets, they roll around a little bit. Some of the shots that you've been able to hit the last couple of games, I think they'll get it figured out though.
Destiny Rice into the game for Alabama. Early entrance for the sophomore from Shreveport, who's averaging 10 minutes a game. Here is Rice driving on Henderson, and some good early returns from the sophomore.
Nice patient, nice attack.
Letitia Mehier has come in for South Carolina, sophomore from Ontario. Here she is on the inside for her first 2.
I think for South Carolina, that's something that they can afford to continue to do, is just force the ball down low. Find the post up, find the mismatches, and attack the basket.
Walker has it knocked away by Aaliyah Boston. Numbers back the other way. Henderson feeds it, but Cook can't finish. Lewis, this little look away, but she can't score on the inside. Instead, she goes for the higher degree of difficulty with that little mid-range shot from the baseline that sometimes can be tough for players, but not for Jordan Lewis.
Coach Day just talked about how scrappy this Alabama team is. And you'll see as you watch them just how scrappy they are.
Beal. 2 more for Bree Beal. A good balance so far from South Carolina. They've scored 13 points with 5 different scores. Walker, that's just what Jasmine Walker does. The senior from Montgomery, her first points, averaging 21 a game.
Coach Curry said she's not just looking to score, now she is our scorer.
Destiny Rice gets an early field goal, and now she's got a steal for Alabama. Barber trying to find Copeland, knocked away by Boston.
Yeah, Hannah Barber has to bounce that ball. You got Aaliyah Boston hanging over. You got to take a step, take one dribble to your left and pass that ball down low.
Destiny Henderson with 5. Another one for Jasmine Walker. You're South Carolina. You cannot let Jasmine Walker get hot, because we have seen her go off during her Alabama career. Now she's got a rebound.
Well,
her first 4 games this season were all 20-point games, Tamika. I mean, she came out firing this year, was committed to becoming a better player. She wants to have a long pro career.
And she wants to play. You want to continue to play post-college games. So, one thing that she's worked on, I mean, you see that right there. She continued to work on different things to elevate her level of play. You look at her body, she's slimmed down, she's playing, she's effective on the floor. 8 points, 4 rebounds for Walker at this moment.
Mentioned 20 or more in the first 4. She's gone for 20 or more 6 times this year. Cook. Well, South Carolina making Alabama pay. Alabama's got to be better on the defensive glass than they were against Missouri. And second chance opportunity for South Carolina. They'll be at the free throw line when we come back. Jasmine Walker heating up for Alabama, even at 15. After a slow start, Alabama's made their last 4 field goal attempts, 15 all at the first media timeout. I mentioned earlier, Tamika, it was a great finish last year for Alabama. They ended the regular season with a 4-game winning streak in the SEC, including wins at 9th-ranked Mississippi State. They were down 13 in the 4th. Megan Abrams had a tip-in at the buzzer. Bama went on an 11-0 run with 10 straight points from Jasmine Walker in that game. She had 20. First win over a top 10 team in 6 years. 66-64 was the final. They followed that win with a 76-63 win at 12th ranked Texas A&M. First win in 10 tries against the Aggies. First win at Reed Arena after losing the first 5 meetings by at least 15. And the first time Alabama had back-to-back wins over top 15 programs. Jasmine Walker had a then career-high 24 in that win at A&M. So if you go back to last year, they have won 12 of their last 13 games, and this senior class really is out to prove they belong. They want respect. That's what Christy Curry told us. They don't want to be overlooked by the rest of the SEC, and they want to be a player on the national stage. And really, you can trace it back to the end of last year where this turnaround started.
Well, and definitely, Eric, I mean, you look at just Jasmine Walker, you look at Jordan Lewis, I mean, just between the 2 of them, and of course you put in Copeland, but between the 2 of them leading the charge. From the top, Jordan Lewis, I mean, she continues to elevate her game to a different level. You see Walker, she continues to work on all the little things. I mean, Coach Curry talked about, hey, this year coming in, we know what you want to do. We know what your plans are after your college career, but while you're here, we want to see you elevate your game. And I think some of it, too, had to do with their assistant coach, Janice Constantine, coming in. That was a coach that Coach Curry raved on and said that she's been really good for Jasmine Walker.
There you see Janice, Tiffany Kopach, and Kelly Curry, also active on the sidelines and the staff for Alabama, for head coach Christy Curry in her 8th season and her 22nd overall. Well, another second chance here for South Carolina. They look inside of Me here, drawing a crowd. Me here again with it, and they'll call a jump ball, possession arrow, Alabama.
One of the struggles that Alabama has had is rebounding the basketball out of their zone, and you see they're struggling. South Carolina already in the first quarter had 8 offensive rebounds. So Christy Curry, I mean, she talked about that. We have got to do a better job of boxing out players, of figuring out within the zone how to find players, make a body, connect, turn, box out, and go and retrieve the ball.
They gave up 13 offensive rebounds in the win against Mizzou on Thursday. They won that game 74-59 thanks to another hot shooting day for the Tide. They shot 54% from the field. It will be South Carolina ball. As Tamika mentioned, already South Carolina a +6 in rebounding margin. And the offensive rebound edge 8-1 for South Carolina.
And you see that zone right there, the 2-3s, looks like the 2-3 matchup, but they crowd the inside. they're making it hard for South Carolina to get the ball down low.
With the hands in there, again, active hands from Destiny Rice. Allie Craig Cruz into the game out of that last media timeout, getting on the floor as well. Tie-up will give it to South Carolina.
And South Carolina, that's what they're good at. They're good at driving, getting it in the paint. But I think Alabama's doing a good job of just crowding that inside. So they've struggled at some of the shots that they've had. Even down low with the offensive rebound that they've been able to get, they're struggling to make those inside shots.
Stoppage here. What did you say about D. Canton there, keeping everything in order?
She got it. She's got it.
The sheriff moved into the paint to make sure. Again, going with 2 officials right now until Angelica Suffren, who is delayed getting to Tuscaloosa, can get there. And a stop. Shot clock violation. Alabama forces a turnover.
And you can see the frustration from Dawn. But one thing that you said is every team has their own journey. And this team, you look at the games, normally they would have played 12, 13 games by now, only 7 games in. So they have a way to go to continue to build, to continue to put the best product on the floor. But I guarantee you, they have some really good players. And when they figure it out and they sync, it's going to look really good for 40 minutes.
Walker fumbled the handoff, so a turnover for Alabama. That is their second turnover. Both these teams averaging 12 turnovers a game. One area of concern for Christy Curry was live ball turnovers, and South Carolina with their transition and how quick they can be with their guards getting up the court. Not just their guards, everybody on the court getting up the floor. Lily Grissett, only senior on the South Carolina roster, into the game. Going back towards midcourt. Picked up by Cook. Shot clock now to 4. Cook weaving through traffic, makes the extra pass, and as the shot clock was heading to 0, Saxton scores.
Great penetration by Zaya Cook. Opened up the paint. She gets in the middle. You got to help up. She make that nice dish.
Lewis back out to Abrams. Abrams tries to take it at Saxton. She's an excellent shot blocker. That's her 18th of the season. 8 to shoot for Bama.
Now when you see Saxton down low, or Leah Boston down low, or Lily Grissett down low, you've got to take a 1-2 dribble and pull up and not try to take it all the way in.
Arbor trying to go quickly here. There's Copeland on the offensive glass for the putback. First points for the senior from Columbus, Georgia, averaging better than 16 a game. South Carolina holding for a final shot. So Alabama will foul with 3 seconds to go. Not over the limit yet. That was their one foul to give.
That's actually a really smart foul. You force South Carolina to take the ball out, to reset an offense and try to get a score in 3 seconds. Not that South Carolina can't, but it's the hardest shot for them.
Thrown out deep. Zaya Cook off balance, counted at the buzzer. Zaya Cook drains it to put South Carolina on top by 3 after 1. South Carolina scored the first 7 points of the game. Alabama battled back. Mariah Copeland on the inside. And then, as time was running out, Zaya Cook for Carolina. Welcome back to the 42nd meeting all time between South Carolina and Alabama. South Carolina's won the last 16 meetings in the season. The last Bama win was in 2008, but we've got a good one so far here. Eric Fried and Tamika Catchings back with you for some Monday Night Hoops on the SEC Network. After jumping out to a 7-0 lead, Jasmine Walker shot Alabama to a 15-all tie. It's 20-17 against this South Carolina team that Alabama has to handle here today, especially on the inside, and so tough on the inside when it comes to scoring and it comes to rebounding. They've out-rebounded each opponent this year. They were plus 12, the Gamecocks were against Florida last time out. You know what you're up against when you're taking on a Carolina team in Aaliyah Boston.
Man, Aaliyah Boston is so strong down low. I mean, obviously we know what she can do on the offensive end, but she forces you on the defensive end. She forces the offense to have to alter their shot, to have to alter their game plan.
Walker guarded by Saxton. Arbor. Abrams back to Barber. Austin comes out to meet her. Alabama has to settle for a deep three. They make 9 3-pointers a game on average. That's good for second in the conference, so it's part of their offense.
South Carolina, I mean, sorry, they got bailed out a little bit by that Alabama three, though. That was a wide open shot.
Saxton moves to the other side of the rim to score 2 more. Good job by Saxton off the bench. 6 points on 3 of 4 shooting. Out of bounds by Grissett. It will be Alabama ball.
And look at how hard Saxton's working down low. You got Barber on you. Post up, takes it to the other side. Jordan Lewis not able to get down there fast enough.
18 of the 22 Carolina points have been scored in the paint, Tamika.
Well, Alabama early on, you feel like they were trying to clog up the middle, but South Carolina did such a good job of moving the ball side to side and then attacking from the top into the paint and finding those open areas. That's what they're going to continue to do.
Foul called on Barber. That will be the second personal foul on Hannah Barber. Well, Barber will have to check out. And here comes freshman Myra Gordon, freshman out of Fort Worth. She's appeared in each game, averaging 12 minutes a game. Trying to feed it inside to Grissett. I don't know if Lely was ready for that pass from Zia Cook.
Well, Zia is such a good shooter, especially when she gets in the middle. Sometimes sometimes it's just being unselfish, trying to make that extra pass, but when you're that low, you gotta take that shot.
Lewis feeds it into Copeland. Grissett hanging tough inside, got a piece of it. She touched it last. 7 to shoot for Alabama.
Yeah, Copeland right there. Grissett is so long. She's able to get that ball in the air. And Copeland has done a great job in the last couple games. She's actually been able to get down, get set. You know, she's shooting the ball really, really well down low, but almost got to give it a little shot fake.
Especially against the South Carolina team that's so good at blocking shots. They're third in Division I at better than 7 a game. They were first in the country last year. Shot clock down to 1. Lewis heaves it. Rebounded by Beal. Henderson. Again, Grissett, some active hands on the inside to keep it alive for South Carolina. Tied up, possession arrow will keep it with Carolina.
I love the hustle by both teams, getting on the floor, getting dirty. They know what's at stake, and I always say this, but every possession matters. You look at the South Carolina team, obviously they're up right now, but they know how scrappy Alabama is. They know what Alabama is capable of doing. So every possession, you gotta give it your all.
Austin with a little half hook, can't get it to drop, and it's Walker who picks it up. Jasmine Walker knocked down those 2 3-pointers and that turnaround for 8 points in the first quarter. And tough for her to find her shot since then as Beal picks up the foul. That's her first.
Finishing the play on defense. That's what Coach Staley talked about. I want my team to be ready to finish every play on the defensive end.
Well, she also said that the offense and defense both have under construction signs hanging from those units. So, not too thrilled. Gonna love that though. Good pass, good catch, good finish. Igris set. South Carolina is on a run here, 4-0 here in the quarter to stretch it out to a 7-point lead. 9-2 run for Carolina.
I almost thought that Coach Staley would come out with a hard hat today.
Henderson up for a me here who couldn't settle it and travel.
And one thing for Alabama, they're going to have to figure out a way to attack the basket and stop settling for outside shot. You know, one thing we always learn is if your outside shot is not falling, it's one thing to keep shooting. It's another thing, attack the basket, put your head down. You guys, they're shooting so well from the free throw line. Take the ball inside, get to the free throw line.
Walker has had to try a deep 3. That's off the mark. Alabama now under 30% from the field. They came into the game shooting better than 45%. And I think that's going to be Copeland battling against Aaliyah Boston, picking up the foul. Dawn referred to the South Carolina defense as impatient, Tamika, that they want to get over it. They just want to get done on the defensive end because they like to get on offense. And maybe that's that way for a lot of teams now. You know, Tamika Catchings took pride in her defense. I get that. But, you know, that's one of the things where Dawn's like finding so many areas for this team to work on that she's not thrilled with yet. Got to be happy so far, up by 7. Timeout called here in the second. South Carolina, number 5 in the country, keeping that spot from a week ago in the latest poll after their win over Florida, on top of Alabama 24-17. Timeout called by Alabama here in the second quarter. We've talked quite a bit about this South Carolina team, the under construction aspect of it. There wasn't that much of a construction zone last year when you had leaders like Ty Harris and Kiki Herbert-Harrigan, outstanding players who were obviously top 10 draft picks in the WNBA. I mean, I could talk about Ty's numbers and Kiki's numbers, but you think it's just very simply put the leadership and the veteran presence they brought to that team last year that helped them go undefeated in SEC play.
Definitely, and you know, you watch the two of them grow from their freshman year to being seniors and really leading the charge. And that's something that Coach Staley talked about. Last year's team did not have to worry about the things they have to worry about this year, because in the locker room, on the court, these two young ladies, Kiki Harrigan, Herbert Harrigan, and Ty Harris, they took care of all of that. So all Dawn had to focus on was the game of basketball, making sure the X's and O's were correct and the communication was there. This year she's back to having to teach more. Not that she doesn't enjoy it, but it's definitely a different locker room and a different look with younger players.
Of course, Ty became a starter midway through her freshman year. She fit in with that veteran group, won the national championship, 13 career starts in the NCAA tournament. Number 1 on the all-time list in assists. Destiny Henderson taking over the point guard spot, and Henderson on the drive is fouled by Jordan Lewis. The thing about Kiki Herbert-Harrigan, she brought a little bit of grit, a little toughness, a little nastiness, not just to a game, but to practice as well. And I mean that as a compliment. That's something that Dawn thinks is missing a little bit with this team. Oh, yeah, no, it's a big compliment.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Mad Kiki, right? Mad Kiki.
Right, Mad Kiki.
You don't want to cross those lines.
I still think that would have been an awesome T-shirt. Maybe somebody made that T-shirt and sold it for charity in Columbia. That would be a good one. Mad Kiki.
Wait on it. It's still coming. She's with the Minnesota Lynx now, so I'm sure there'll be putting something together for Mad Kiki to come out.
And a traveling violation as Brissett was trying to move on the inside. Well, women's college hoop doubleheader coming up on Thursday. Tennessee will be back at practice tomorrow, so we expect the Lady Vols to be back on the court to take on 13th ranked Arkansas, 6:30 Eastern, 5:30 Central. And then 10th ranked Kentucky takes on undefeated and 8th ranked Texas A&M at Reed Arena, both right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Texas A&M won their SEC opener over Florida yesterday, and we were fortunate enough to bring you the Kentucky Mississippi State game when Ryan Howard went for 33 points, 25 of those points coming in the fourth quarter and in overtime. Strong drive by Zaya Cook for 2.
You cannot allow South Carolina to get these either loose ball turnovers or rebound and take the ball 94 feet without somebody stepping in front. That's where South Carolina is they're just too good.
First points of the quarter for Alabama come with less than 5 minutes to go in the quarter, scored by Jordan Lewis. Now Alabama gets a stop on defense. Rice thought better of attacking Boston. Lewis not afraid to drive the lane, and she'll get to the free throw line. And again, this is where Alabama has done a lot of their work, at the free throw line this season.
And this is the play right here. Jordan Lewis, like you said, not afraid to attack the basket. They've been settling, Alabama has been settling for outside shots. Right now, shooting 30% from the field goal, 20% from the three. So they got to get the ball to the basket, get to the free throw line.
Now on Brissett, her first personal. Lewis 87% from the free throw line. She's 4th in the SEC. Copeland is 1st in the SEC in free throw shooting at 91%. Lewis 4th, Abrams 10th, Walker 11th. There's 4 players from Alabama in the top 11 in free throw shooting in the conference.
Hence why they succeed, getting to the free throw line, taking the ball to the basket, getting the and-one. Copeland's been playing well down low for them. Walker, obviously, we've seen what she can do from the outside and the inside.
Cook. Ami here in the paint. Can't finish, but there is Boston on the offensive glass.
Right now, South Carolina has 24 points in the paint compared to South Carolina 12. Alabama has to do a better job of boxing out.
Already 10 offensive rebounds for South Carolina. Out of bounds, and it will be South Carolina ball. That call made by Angelica Suffren. So all our officials are here now that Angelica's joined the crew.
Hey, Angelica, welcome to the party.
He was delayed getting into Tuscaloosa. You see the rebounding numbers, a plus 15 right now in rebounding margin for South Carolina, and Brissett will head to the free throw line. The foul on Rice.
And Alabama game plan. And what they do so well, they're scrappy on the offensive end and the defensive end, but that matchup zone that they play, that's what teams, they do not like playing against the matchup zone that Alabama has. One thing that they've not been able to do thus far in the game is clog up the middle. Force South Carolina to take outside shots. I mean, they got 24 points in the paint, and they have 28 points on the board. Clog up the middle, force them to beat you from the outside.
Couple of misses at the free throw line. Rice was on her way down. Saxton was just watching, and Rice with a tough bucket. I think Victoria was just shocked that Rice got a shot off. They looked for Boston on the lob.
Look how they're crowding Boston down low. Leah Boston always had two people focused on her.
Shot clock down to 3. And a 3 is knocked down by Zaya Cook.
Great heads-up play by Zaya Cook.
She has been very consistent in this her sophomore season. Was all freshman in the SEC, started every game last year, 12 points a game, and she has kept it going this year, averaging 19 a game as Abrams earns a trip to the free throw line. She's gone for 20 or more in each of the last 2 games. In fact, she's averaging better than 22 points a game in her last 3 games. There's that hoop by Destiny Rice, answered by Cook. Who we call a hesitation move. Rare miss for Alabama at the free throw line. Here's what's on the men's schedule at the moment on the SEC Network. Tomorrow, Kentucky hosting Vanderbilt at Rupp. Then at Starkville, 13th ranked Missouri will take on Mississippi State. It all starts at 7 o'clock Eastern time on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Saved to Boston. Henderson on the push, and Lewis picks up the personal.
That'd be Lewis's second foul.
So the grad student in her 5th year from Windermere, Florida, with 2, takes a peek at the bench, maybe to see if anybody's going to come in for her. Lewis will stay in the game. So South Carolina with its largest lead, they're into double figures with that lead for the first time tonight. Henderson with 7 points.
Well, every player that has touched the floor for South Carolina has scored. When you talk about just a balanced attack, yes, you focus on Aaliyah Boston, yes, you focus on Zaya Cook, but there's other players that are stepping up and able to knock down shots.
Yeah, but also the defense is really telling the story in this quarter, Tamika. Alabama's 2 of 12 from the field. They are 0 for 5 from the three-point line. South Carolina has really dialed it up on the defensive end. And Alabama for the game now 9 for 29.
Yeah. Could tell that they're dialed in. They've definitely been challenged today to come out and be aggressive.
Allie Craig Cruz tries to drive with Boston hovering, and Henderson off the miss. It's a hard hit, and we'll head back to the free throw line.
South Carolina just so good when they get into that just a transition break. They're so good at finding. I mean, Destiny Henderson, she puts her head down. She knows how to find the basket. Zaya Cook puts her head down. She knows how to get to the basket. I mean, they're just good in the open floor.
Gymnastics is back to take over the SEC Network Friday night this week. Our doubleheader starts in Athens. Number 10, Georgia, hosting at number 16, Missouri. That's at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Then third-ranked LSU will take on 15th-ranked Arkansas in Baton Rouge, all here on the SEC Network and also on the ESPN app. So Henderson with 1 out of 2 at the free throw line. The lead is 11 with under 90 seconds to go in the first half. Trying to find Lewis on the cut. Lewis had one of the more open looks for Alabama this quarter, just couldn't hit it. Look at Henderson with a burst of speed to the basket and the foul.
You got loose ball turnovers, you got missed shots. South Carolina get their hands on the ball. This was one of the keys of the game for Dawn Staley. She said, Destiny Henderson, I want her to put her head down and just go. 10 points right now, 3 of 5. 5 straight Henderson points. She hit this free throw, that'll be 6, of course, but Henderson, when she's on the floor, the biggest thing that South Carolina relies on is push the ball, get the fast break, get the transition game going.
It's a 9-0 run right now for South Carolina to stretch it out to a 14-point game, turning defense into points. Destiny Henderson now with 11 after that three-point play. And a timeout called by Alabama with 1:03 to go. Just great balance. That was the thing, too. We were talking about last year's South Carolina team, how great they were and how they were deprived a chance to go try and win another national championship. Look at the numbers for Destiny Henderson. She's trying to fill that Ty Harris role. They had that balanced scoring last year, Tamika. Such a selfless team. When you looked at the totals, Herbert Harrigan had 432 points, Boston 412, Cook 397, Harris 396. I mean, that you just put a small blanket over those four scores. That just shows you that on any night, anyone could have a game, but on most nights, everyone was going to have their fingerprints on a South Carolina win.
Well, I mean, when you look at great teams, a lot of times you look at a balanced attack, and you look at having players that are selfless and that want to win. Doesn't matter who scores or how we score, as long as everybody scores and we win together. And that has been the key focus for Dawn's team. I mean, that has been the thing that she emphasizes.
Alabama needed that. They got a corner three from Walker. It had gone 3 minutes without a field goal before Walker knocked down her third three of the half. She's got 11. Good ball movement by South Carolina. They got an open look, couldn't hit, but Brissett had the offensive rebound, just couldn't get the putback.
He had another offensive rebound for South Carolina, but Alabama get to pull it out. They get the last shot of the half.
Alyssa Lang, Steffi Sorensen standing by with our halftime report. Steffi will have her New Year's resolutions. Alabama can't get off a final shot, so that South Carolina defense gave up that three to Walker. But South Carolina closed out the half on a 9-2 run, outscoring Bama 17-9 in that second quarter. Fifth-ranked team in the country, the defending SEC champions, on top by 11 at halftime. Jordan Lewis and Jasmine Walker trying to keep Alabama close against South Carolina. But a lot of firepower for South Carolina. Victoria Saxton, Destiny Henderson, Zia Cook teaming up to put South Carolina on top. Back in Tuscaloosa, all quiet downtown. I believe there's a football game coming up a week from today, but I'll have to check my sources on that one. Of course we know there's a big football game next Monday night. We've got basketball right now, 37-26. The score at halftime, fifth-ranked South Carolina on top of Alabama. Eric and Tamika back in quarter, telling the story of the game so far, Tamika. The defense was outstanding for South Carolina. They held Alabama to 5 of 15 shooting, 3 of 15 shooting, in that second quarter, 1 of 6 on three-pointers, and the rebounding numbers, a 15-5 edge for South Carolina over Bama in that second quarter.
Yeah, South Carolina, you could just tell they definitely upped the energy that they had. That's something that Coach Daly said. She challenged the team. They are under construction on the offensive end and the defensive end, but I think she's got to be pleased going into halftime just on how well they are playing on the defensive end. And offense is sometimes sparked by your defense, so they have definitely come. They've taken care of business on the defensive end, and they've made it really hard for Alabama to score.
There were bursts for Alabama in that first half, mostly from Jasmine Walker. She knocked down 3 three-pointers. She had 11 points in the first half, but there was a long stretch of time where she was held in check. And outside of what you'll see here from Jasmine, the rest of Alabama struggled against that South Carolina defense to make shots.
Well, I think the big thing, Alabama, they do so well from the three-point line, but they also do really well from the free throw line. So they started settling for a lot of outside shots. South Carolina was basically allowing them open look. But I think where Alabama can really look at in the second half to get back in this game is to really focus on getting their head down and driving it to the basket.
And the work inside by South Carolina, so strong here against Alabama, led by Aaliyah Boston, and the attack mode from Destiny Henderson.
Well, South Carolina right now 30-14 on the board, but they've done a great job just attacking the basket. Like I said, offense leads or defense leads to offense, and they have made every shot. That fast break game is where it's at, leading Alabama 13-0.
You see the offensive rebounds, 11 just in the first half for South Carolina. Again, in the win against Missouri, Alabama gave up plenty of offensive rebounds in that game, 13 in all. So it's a problem. Christy Curry knew it would be. Knew it would be a challenge too. And you mentioned Alabama's had to play some zone, try to pack it in, and that's hard to hold down rebounds sometimes when you're playing some zone defense. So plenty of things for Christy Curry to point to improve upon here in the second half for South Carolina. Well, you're kind of bummed that halftime came around because you were rolling defensively in that second quarter. And that sparked off that 17-9 scoring edge in the quarter for the Gamecocks. Ready for the third quarter at Coleman Coliseum. Alabama will have the first possession of the second half. And the clocks didn't start.
Restart.
We're frozen in time in Tuscaloosa. Now, how do they know it does work? I mean, it does work. It's working there, but it wasn't something like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You wanted me to touch this button? Copeland goes with the left hand. Every shot's been a tough one for Copeland. She's 1 of 4 from the field.
And honestly,
added to Henderson.
If you're Alabama, you want Copeland to continue to take that shot. She has to be aggressive. You've got to take the ball at Aaliyah Boston. She's only a sophomore. She still makes those mistakes, and got to try to figure out a way to make her work on the defensive end.
Austin can't score on the offensive end, but it's picked up by Bree Beal. Another putback, more point paint, second chance points for South Carolina.
And yet another offensive rebound. So now 33-14. South Carolina is normally at a plus 18 on the board, and that's how they do it. Everybody attacks the basket.
Well, Copeland takes it at Boston again. Again, it won't go down, and here comes South Carolina on the run. Cook can't get it. Walker's got the rebound. Let's see if Alabama could do something in transition.
Well, they've had 3 good look, 2 out of the 3 for sure.
Cook lost her footing and traveled. Alabama has done a good job to make it taking care of the basketball. They've only turned it over 2 times. That's 9 turnovers for South Carolina. But even with just those 2 turnovers, Alabama's down by 13 because they're shooting less than 30% from the field. There's Boston reaching over to knock it away.
Boston is just too long. You have got to take 1-2 dribble and bounce pass.
Destiny Henderson could not wait to get that pass into her hands so she could then forward a pass on the inside to Bree Beal.
Is that what she was looking to do, Eric? Yeah.
It didn't look that way. She's like, well, get it to me quickly. I know she's open. I can see her, and I can't wait. Watch how fast they're going to dish this inside. Alabama answers with Barber. And Saxton will head to the free throw line.
Great job. This is what Aaliyah Boston, you throw the ball that high up, and of course Copeland, anytime you make her have to stretch, that's a big thing for her. Then of course on the other end, Bree Beal does a great job that post up. Destiny Henderson, I think she got eyes maybe in the back of her head, maybe on the side as well. That peripheral vision.
Chameleon action, like that. You know, she had her right eye looking in the corner, her left eye looking at Bree Beal.
The no look right there, the no look.
There's Beal. Oh, just could not hold on to it. And it'll be Alabama ball.
You see how quick South Carolina is to the ball. I mean, when the shot goes up, you will see 2, 3, sometimes even 4 players going to the basket. Loose ball. Of course, Jordan Lewis able to get the finish down low, but South Carolina, I mean, look, ooh.
Destiny Henderson has another speed than most players on the court right now. She's got 13 points, and Carolina's back on top by 14. Lewis will draw the foul on Boston.
And that's what Alabama has to do. They've got to get to the free throw line. They've got to keep attacking the basket. South Carolina will foul. So if you settle for outside shots when you're shooting 25% from the 3 and 32% from the field, take the ball to the basket and try to get to the free throw line. Try to slow the clock down so you give yourself an opportunity to get back in the game.
Lewis coming off a career high last time out against Mizzou, had 27 points, added 6 assists. Averaging 15 points a game. She's got 13 tonight. Austin will take that shot. Lewis again takes it on the inside and again earns a spot at the free throw line.
I like that shot for Lewis on this offensive end, and even in the last possession, I like that high post shot for Aaliyah Boston. But you see, Jordan Lewis does a great job just dragging Bree Beal out a little bit, trying to get that reverse layup.
That's the second personal foul on Beal. 14 for Lewis, 11 for Walker. Henderson leading South Carolina in scoring with 13. And then lackadaisical play for South Carolina. Turnover number 10 for the Gamecocks, and maybe the door creeps open here for Alabama.
Let's think to South Carolina's last game against Florida. They lost focus in that third quarter. Florida almost came in. They kept making the little plays, little by little. They got themselves back in the game. South Carolina, with having young players, sometimes you can lose focus in the game.
Well, right now Alabama's losing touch with Destiny Henderson, who scores again in transition. 15 for Henderson. Florida outscored South Carolina in the third quarter in that meeting. Arbor makes the extra pass to Copeland. Well, it started with a Lewis attack on the basket. She kept the attacks going on the hoop. That's kind of gotten things going offensively, but now Saxton comes back for the Gamecocks.
Alabama can figure out a way to limit touches, limit post touches, and points in the paint.
Arbor kind of short-armed that one. That's going to come up South Carolina ball.
And Destiny Henderson, you talk about just another level of speed and just the way that she plays, just a smart player. In this game, she's been able to look for her own shot. Normally you see her dishing the ball out. Like we saw the pass earlier to Saxton, but I mean, this is what this young lady does.
Yeah, sometimes it looks like Destiny isn't even bothering with first, second, third, and fourth gear. She's like, I can just go right into fifth gear and see you later. Lewis is in attack mode for Alabama. 17 for Jordan. She scored 8 straight points for the Crimson Tide. Austin to Saxton. Saxton can't get it. Copeland there on the defensive glass. Lewis, another take to the basket and another trip to the free throw line Coming for Jordan Lewis. She has been playing tough. You know what? She may be a candidate for an award that Alabama hands out. We'll tell you about the Dirty Dog Award when we come back. Alabama down 10 to 5th-ranked South Carolina. They got to get tough. They got to get dirty. They got to get gritty. And if you are the dirtiest, grittiest, toughest for South Carolina, for Alabama in the game, they've got an award just for you.
Got the dirty dog. Let's all go to the whole group because everybody was amazing. 6 for 6 from the free throw line and 14 fourth-quarter points after a day of adversity.
Hanna-Barbera got the award when Alabama was down 17 at Oklahoma State. They only had 9 players that came back to win. So Hannah's won it a couple of times. Here's the list of winners. I would say right now Jordan Lewis is the front runner for the award tonight because she's trying to put this team on her back right now against South Carolina, Tamika.
I'll tell you what, Eric, that award right there, I would be all over that. I would be all over Dirty Dog Award, Best Hustle, just all out grit, all of that. Yes, definitely Jordan Lewis for tonight's game, but I mean, what a creative way to engage your players, to get everybody focused on going hard at all times. I know it looks like a joke. I'll tell you what, that dog tag is a little bit too big. You know, but
so we can work on this. We can work on the size and the presentation, but you like the intent of the award.
Definitely.
You think we're set with contact, she'll go to the line.
All out going into a game and knowing like that would be, yeah, that's a big award right there. Like,
well, now,
would you walk around with that?
Oh, are you kidding me? Well, I would walk around, but I'd need to go see a chiropractor because I'd be slumped over. I'd look like a question mark after wearing that for a little while. But, like, think about it. Hanna-Barbera won that award that we showed you. She's won it twice. It's kind of sums up what Alabama has done so far. I mean, Hannah has emerged as, we've said it before, one of the most improved, if not the most improved player in the SEC. She played a total of 233 minutes last season. She has gone past that point already here in this game tonight. She's up to 245 with the minutes here tonight. So she has already surpassed it, and she's earned that Dirty Dog Award a couple of times.
But she came into this season and, you know, obviously every team's been dealing with COVID, but you know, Coach Curry talked to us and said, look, when she was at home, she was trying to figure out ways. I mean, all the players were FaceTiming, trying to figure out what are some ways, what are some drills, what are some things that we can do to get better. When you look at her this year compared to her body composition last year, she's slimmed down, she's moving a lot better. But one of the things Coach Curry talked about is she took it to heart. I want to be, when people look at me, I want them to see a college player, like a collegiate player, a D1 player.
And SEC player. Great. Yeah, an SEC player specifically, right? I mean, you're going to play in one of the best leagues in the country. That's thrown Lewis off of Saxton, and it will be Alabama basketball.
That great hustle play right there by Abram.
It was Abrams, yes.
Fighting for the ball right there, does a good job. And Saxton, they got to do a better job of boxing out. South Carolina has so many they have tall, long players. You got to get in their knees, you got to get in their body and push them back so that you can go and get the rebound.
Henderson knocks it out of the hands of Lewis. Well, South Carolina is a plus 18 in rebounding margin right now. That is their season average. Good for 4th in the country. So we expected South Carolina to have a big rebounding edge, but they're already at their season average right now. Great play by Bama to get Copeland inside for 2.
Jordan Lewis set that play up, dragged Aaliyah Boston out just enough, squeezed that pass down low to Copeland.
Cook again losing her balance. Can't get it, and a foul is going to be called on Alabama. It's Deja Benjamin who gets whistled for the foul. It is. Not a popular call in Coleman. Henderson. Good feed to Grissett, and Benjamin picks up another foul.
Now you got to get in front of that ball. She's got to get in front of Grissett. She can't slide behind her. There's no way to get that pass. That's the first foul that was called.
Kind of backing into Saxton, trying to get position in the paint. As Grissett off the mark. Well, it's an 8-point game with... Go ahead, Rika.
I was going to say Alabama's got to put a body.
That's Saxton just fighting on the offensive glass. 16 offensive rebounds now for the Gamecocks.
You look at South Carolina, what do they do well? They get the ball in the paint. That's what they do really well. And how do they do that? They rebound. You got to box them out. You got to push them back. Alabama tried to swarm the middle. They tried to swarm the paint, but even as they swarm the paint, South Carolina's done a great job of moving the ball side to side, and then when the shot goes up, they got 4 or 5 people crashing the boards.
I shortchanged South Carolina. 17 offensive rebounds. The Gamecocks, they've gone cold from the field, though. They've missed their last 7 field goal attempts. But that string ends there with a hoop from Cook. Rice can't track it down, and it's a turnover for Alabama.
And right on cue, Eric, you said South Carolina went on a little drought. Zaire Cook knows how to end the drought anytime.
Austin. Henderson is short, and it's picked up by Walker. For Lewis. Lewis takes it at Cook for 2 more. Henderson looking for the counterattack. Copeland there for the block.
Jasmine Walker comes out, and then of course you get Jordan Lewis. Been doing this all game long, attacking the basket, and of course Copeland, great job not fouling. Destiny Henderson not able to get that basket.
Lewis with 11 of her 20 points here in the 3rd quarter. Austin. That's Saxton on the glass, and a trip to the free throw line for Victoria Saxton.
If you watch Saxton, you watch her the whole possession. That whole possession, she worked. Literally, one post, the ball's on one side, she's posting up. Ball goes to the middle, she's posting up. Nobody turns around and boxes her out. Everybody turns and looks at the ball. But who is the only one that keeps working? Saxton.
Well, South Carolina's going to have to work on their free throw shooting. It is a struggle for the Gamecocks. 8 of 18 from the free throw line. 1 of 2 for Saxton. She's into double figures now with 10 to go along with 3 rebounds. Harper in trouble in the backcourt. Grissett and Cook turn her over, and Cook scores. Lewis back to help out this time, and Lewis leans in from 15, and everything's dropping right now for Jordan Lewis.
Well, Coach Curry knew that the ball needed to be in Lewis's hand for this game. She has come out, she's played well.
Henderson steps into a three and makes it. Destiny Henderson leading the way for South Carolina in Tuscaloosa. 18 points for Henderson. She's 2 for 2 outside the three-point line. .12-point lead for South Carolina. Copeland to Walker. Walker hasn't scored in the quarter, and she'll get called for a travel. And Jasmine Walker showing some frustration.
Yeah, it wasn't a good pass to her, so she caught the ball fumbling, trying to go into a move too fast. Just take a dribble out and get yourself collected before you go in.
Final 10 seconds of the quarter. Cook beat the buzzer to close out the first quarter, and Carolina beats the buzzer to close out the third. It's Saxton working so hard during that entire quarter, comes up with a hoop at the buzzer to put South Carolina on top by 14.
Well, you can't say enough just about Zaya Cook coming out, get the steal to the basket, and of course, I mean, that's only part of the game. Of course, you make the straight, you make the ball, you move it, 4-3, South Carolina on top.
One week from tonight, I mean, Alabama's offense was, quote fingers here, held in check by Notre Dame, 31 points, lowest of the season. And after a run of 3 straight games of 50 points or more for Alabama, that Tide offense has been rolling. Ohio State very impressive in their win over Clemson. So we'll see what the hurdling Harrises can do against Ohio State coming up a week from today. So we head to the fourth quarter. Aaliyah Boston was 0 for 6 in the quarter for South Carolina, yet South Carolina extended their lead over Alabama to 14 points after being up at halftime by 11. Just dominating on the glass right now, Tamika. Plus 22 in rebounding margin.
Yeah, when you think about Aaliyah Boston and you look at the players that are out there, it is not about one player. We came in, the first thing that we said is South Carolina has a balanced attack. You got Zaya Cook with 11 points. You got Destiny Henderson with 18. You got Victoria Saxton with 12 right now. And everybody else that has played has scored.
Austin doesn't try to force it. They work it around and find the open look for Henderson. Again on the glass. Again, it's Saxton. And she will head back to the free throw line.
I mean, when you look at rebounds, 45 rebounds, 21 offensive rebound. Now, you know, like most of the time you come into games and you want to hold teams to 8 or 9 offensive rebounds. South Carolina is a team that you know they're going to attack the basket. You know they're going to go after the rebound. That's what they do really well.
It was a better third quarter than last game against Florida. Overall on the season, coming out of halftime, you can see the numbers. And South Carolina has been good. And they were ahead in that third quarter. A +3. 15-point lead for the Gamecocks. Added away by Saxton. So active on both ends of the floor. That leads to transition for South Carolina. Good recovery by Alabama, but guess who inside? Take 2, Saxton. Timeout called by Alabama. Hard work rewarded for Victoria Saxton. she would rather shoot 100% than 50% on that trip, but they're up 17. Well, this is nothing new for South Carolina so far this season, and this is game number 8. Through the first 7 games, they are averaging 18 offensive rebounds a game. They have 22 here today, and it's been a big part of the story for them to be on top by 17, forcing Alabama to take a timeout here in the fourth quarter.
Well, that's just part of the story. 22 offensive rebounds, second chance points. They have 18 points off a second chance opportunity. It's hard to beat any team, let alone a great South Carolina team, when they're on the boards like that, not getting boxed out and able to get second chance points.
15 and 6 for Victoria Saxton. She's 6 of 11 from the field. Destiny Henderson 6 of 12 shooting, a team high 18 points. She has 7 rebounds and 4 assists. The timeout called by Alabama to try to slow things down. The first 3 points of the quarter scored by South Carolina. They've won 16 straight in the series with Alabama. Alabama hoping for their first win over South Carolina since January of 2008. It's going to take a huge comeback here in the fourth quarter for it to happen. Copeland to Walker. They try to get her involved. Her first points of the second half.
That's a great play, too. They pulled Aaliyah Boston out of the paint, forced somebody else to guard down low. Jasmine Walker able to get that layup.
Cook lost the handle. Added out of bounds by Saxton, so Alabama will have it. 11 turnovers now for the Gamecocks.
You have so many different weapons. You're trying to move the ball. You're trying to get the ball in the right person's hands. And sometimes you see some of the turnovers for Alabama, or for South Carolina, because of the options that they have. But Destiny Henderson on the break.
Who?
Destiny Henderson.
Who were you talking about?
Destiny Henderson.
The long bounce assist by Henderson to put South Carolina top by 17. Lewis draws a crowd. Lewis unable to finish. Copeland on the offensive glass, and a second chance here for Bama. And South Carolina lost track of Jordan Lewis.
I think she ran in a circle.
I don't think Dawn would like the explanation that because she was running in a circle, the defense got dizzy. That is unacceptable. Saxton. Cook leans in for 2. 13 points for Zia Cook, leading South Carolina in scoring this season with 19 a game. Barber follows her miss. Lewis, deep 3. That drops down. Jordan Lewis has matched her career high. She set it last game against Mizzou. She's got 27 again here tonight.
Jordan Lewis came out, started off the game. Alabama started off the game a little slow, but Jordan Lewis, I tell you what, she has come out and she has continued to keep Alabama in this game. When they need a basket, that's where the ball goes.
Take you back to that Henderson assist a moment ago.
Henderson took a set. I mean, that girl, when she gets the ball, and you said this, when she goes in that break, that fifth gear, but her eyes are up. She sees the floor. She knows. She times the pass. It's like the perfect moment.
Whistle and a foul called on Boston. That'll be number 2 on Boston. Barber gets it back. Lewis. No, Lewis slipped on the follow-up, and Henderson comes away 3-on-2 for South Carolina. Henderson can't do it herself. And Grissett got knocked over, a foul called on Alabama. Destiny Rice will pick up the personal. A reminder, big doubleheader coming up on Thursday. Tennessee expected to be back in action. They were cleared to return to practice tomorrow. They'll take on 13th ranked Arkansas, 6:30 Eastern. Then Tamika and I will have the showdown between Kentucky and Texas A&M, both right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. A&M 10-0 overall. Kentucky now 2-0 in the SEC after their overtime win in Starkville, 92-86. The second violation called on South Carolina. Fantastic performance by Ryan Howard, who had 33 points. She had 8 points after the third quarter, and then it was Ryan time.
Show me your clock. Show me your clock. Ryan time. And Ryan Howard took over in the fourth quarter, and then overtime, every time the ball got in her hand, it was like a walking bucket.
We interviewed her after the game, and we kind of joked about Ryan time, but she was ready for it. She pointed right to her wrist. There wasn't a watch on there, but we knew what it meant. It was Ryan time. That's when the game's on the line. The set can't haul that in. It's another turnover for South Carolina. That's number 13 for Carolina. I think the impressive thing about Kentucky, too, even though the game was on the line, they needed Ryan Howard to take over. It is not a one-person team. Kyra Elzy has got those pieces working together right now, and they are facing the teeth of their schedule right out of the blocks. They're playing the 4 other top 25 teams in the SEC in their first 4 conference games as Walker scores on the inside. They'll close out that run of 4 games against 4 ranked teams against South Carolina coming up on Sunday. They'll be in Lexington. Me here. We'll head to the line. Jasmine Walker saying this is a foul. This is a foul. That, you know, just demonstrating things a little bit in case we needed a little instruction. Timeout on the floor. 12-point game. South Carolina on top of Alabama, 66-54. Our 5-minute timeout here in the fourth quarter. South Carolina's missed their last 4 shots. Destiny Henderson has not missed much here today. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists for the junior from Fort Myers.
And Destiny Henderson, I mean, she has done everything that this team has needed her to do. She scored, she moved the ball, she's gotten rebounds. She's done everything defense. I mean, she's done a little bit of everything on both ends of this, on both ends of the floor. 18 points, 6 of 14, 7 rebounds, and the game's not over yet. And she still has more in her.
5 assists, 1 turnover today. So she's at 21 assists and 5 turnovers her last 3 games. She's been very good taking care of the basketball. We mentioned how Alabama was carrying over from a strong finish to last season. They've won 12 of the last 13 games when you go back to last year, and their 8-0 start this year. But Destiny Henderson, she was on the all-tournament team in the SEC last year. You know, she had a strong finish. She was getting minutes. She was learning from one of the greats all time in Ty Harris, and she was obviously paying attention, waited her turn, and she's making the most of it right now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think just the 1-2 combo with her and Zaya Cook, I mean, what they both bring on the floor when they're there, they both can score. They have a similar game, you know, so and what they're capable of doing. The thing that makes South Carolina as a team so dangerous is all of the weapons that they have. You never know whose night it's going to be. Zaya Cook is actually the leading scorer, but Destiny Henderson, she can go off at any point in time, and she's proven why she's so good tonight.
Jordan Lewis looks for a cutting Walker. Just won't drop down, and Ami here's got the rebound. Beal. Not much happening right now for South Carolina. Zia Cook tries to make it happen, cannot, and a foul is called on Aaliyah Boston. That'll be her third.
You can see South Carolina slowing the pace of the game, trying to set their offense, definitely working on some different elements. They've been able to get up and down in the transition game, but that was the first true set we've seen them actually set up and have to play for the whole shot clock.
Lewis, they slip back. That's been a mistake. Copeland gets the putback. 8 points for Copeland. If Alabama can get a couple stops, Alabama's got some shooters that can shoot them right back very quickly. Henderson, too easy for Henderson.
Jasmine Walker goes for that shot fake, and Henderson been shooting the ball well from the outside, so you got to respect that she can make that shot.
20 points now for Destiny Henderson. That's her SEC best. Walker catch and shoot well off the mark, and here comes South Carolina off the miss. The heads up play by Zia Cook. No need to push it, work some clock. Cook drains a three. Is that an impressive thing about Zia Cook right now, Tamika, here in her sophomore year? She had a great freshman season, but it seems like it's a quiet 16 for her, that things are coming pretty easily for Zia Cook as the foul is called.
But she hasn't had to control the pace of the whole game. Destiny Henderson stepped up. Victoria Saxton came in. She stepped up big time. I mean, you even look at Aaliyah Boston. She's only got 5 points. So she's not even somebody that stepped up this game. But Zia Cook, you find your groove. You find within the flow of the game where you need to step up and make shots, and that's what she's doing.
That was on Boston. Her 4th personal foul as Abrams hits at the free throw line. A reminder, men's hoop, SEC Network tomorrow. Kentucky and Vandy in Lexington, and then it's 13th ranked Missouri taking on Mississippi State at the Hump, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern time on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Henderson had it tipped out of her hands, and then she tipped it out of bounds. Alabama ball, 15-point game with 2:07 to go. One other game in the SEC today went to overtime. Ole Miss suffered their first loss of the season. LSU improved to 2-0 in the SEC with a 77-69 win. Ole Miss back in action, having their last 2 games either canceled or postponed, including their matchup with South Carolina. Cook, pretty play.
Yeah, Zia Cook, and between Zia Cook and Destiny Henderson, because they play the 1 and the 2, either one of them can bring the ball up. I think Zia Cook, she does a great job when she's off the ball of just being able to find those open looks and those open baskets, getting to the basket, finding her spot to pull up for those jump shots.
Jordan Lewis was fouled by Saxton, so Jordan will go to the free throw line with a chance to set a new career high for the 2nd consecutive game. Now, just keeping Jordan Lewis healthy will be one of the big challenges for Alabama. Remember, last year she had a cut on her shooting hand in January, needed 12 stitches. It's hard to keep her out of action, that's for sure. She finds ways to keep playing. A couple of years ago, suffered a broken wrist in a game. She didn't even realize it. She ended up playing 34 minutes in that game, then 34 minutes in the next game before they finally saw in a scan that she had a fracture, but she's so tough that she just played through everything. We've seen how hard she's played here tonight.
And even as you watch her, she never looks like out of breath. She's always within the flow. I mean, might be one of the most in-shape players that you've seen.
28 points for Jordan Lewis. It's a new career high after setting a new career high last game against Mizzou. Inside of 90 seconds to go in a 16-point game. Reset tried to feed it inside to me here. Arbor comes away. And Lily Grissett gets called for the foul.
Grissett a little upset about that call. Get back on defense. Get back.
You heard Lily say, "Come on, D."
Told you D got it under control.
I think he and the officials know Lily is means well by it. I think I saw Dawn Staley saying, Lily just trying to wave her back. Just get back behind half court. Let's just get on the bus, get to the airport, and head home.
Grissett running the point. Let's see.
Now Russell into the game for South Carolina, and Grissett scores for the Gamecocks. Olivia Thompson also into the game for South Carolina. Fouls on Rice, her 4th personal foul. Next up for Alabama, they will host LSU on Thursday, 2-0 LSU. Then they'll be at Vandy and at Mississippi State. Vandy should be back in action by that time after their pause. South Carolina will host Georgia on Thursday. Georgia with a bounce back yesterday. 76-44 win over Auburn. Auburn playing without Unique Thompson as Walker loses the handle, and South Carolina will bring it across half court. Alyssa Wesselek is into the game as well for South Carolina. Walker tries to rip away the rebound, and a foul is called on Russell. I'll send Jasmine Walker to the free throw line to shoot a couple with 24 seconds to go.
And I think tonight, Alabama, they just weren't able to compete with South Carolina on the rebound, 55-31. The offensive rebound, 26-7. South Carolina lead on that, and they just struggled. They stopped making shots, and when they stopped making shots, it affected their defense.
One of 2 for Walker. 16 points for Walker. Lewis leading the way for Alabama with 28. Destiny Henderson with 20 to lead South Carolina. Zia Cook had 18, and Victoria Saxton had 15 points. Leah Boston was held in check. She scored 5 points all in the first half, but she did have 10 rebounds. In the end, it's a team win for South Carolina. They've won 4 in a row. They're now 7-1, 2-0 in the SEC after a 77-60 win over Alabama, the first loss of the season for the Crimson Tide. Tamika and I will be back to wrap it up. If they can somehow slow down Destiny Henderson, we plan on talking to Destiny, but she's pretty quick. Is she too quick for our crew? We will find out. Henderson and South Carolina. There's some of that quickness. Nice little fake and take. South Carolina wins it. South Carolina wins it 77-60. Strong defensive effort for the Gamecocks as they hold Alabama to 39% shooting, dominating on the boards, a plus 24 in rebounding margin. And the leading scorer for South Carolina was Destiny Henderson. She had 20 points. Destiny, you also had 8 rebounds and 5 assists. Which number do you take the most pride in when you hear your line here tonight?
Assist.
Assist. Well, that's the right answer. We especially like the that long bounce pass. That was a good one too. So you had a little smile on that one.
Yes.
When you guys are clicking and you know you've got a quick speed, Destiny, your teammates have to run with you. So it's your job to put the ball in a good position. So how is it with your team right now? How does it feel like the chemistry is coming together here as we get going in the season?
I feel like the further we go, the more we recognize how to play with each other and just find the flow on the team and just keep shooting the ball. Don't give up. Play for 40 minutes and just go all out.
Yeah, one of the things that you can tell, Coach Staley said that both your offense and your defense are under construction right now. And I think when you watch you guys tonight on the defensive end, what do you think makes you guys so good on defense and makes it hard for teams to score?
I feel like our offense is what starts it. I feel like if we scoring, we're gonna pour all our energy out because we want to get back and score again. So I just feel like offensively and defensively, we have to be a dog on the court. We just got to take pride in our defense and just make sure we secure the basketball.
Taking care of the basketball is something you've done very well, especially we see you scoring here tonight with the 20 points, but 5 assists, 1 turnover. Your assist to turnover the last 3 games, now 21-5. When you think about your game and where you are right now, you got a lot of experience the last 2 years, but now you've got the keys. You're in charge of driving this car and putting this car in position to succeed. How much is the challenge kind of picked up for you this year compared to where you were last year?
It's definitely a challenge. I feel like this is really my first time really trying to take control on the court, and I feel like if we all on the same page, it makes the game so much easier for me just to recognize what's happening on the court. If we just all on the same page, it makes the game so much easier for me.
So Tamika has seen this firsthand. We understand it's very tough for point guards to satisfy Dawn Staley, that she is someone who's tough to please. What do you think about that? Is she kind of a tough critic and someone that's tough to keep happy at the point guard position?
Most definitely. I feel like she's very tough, but that's only because she wants us to be great. So we just got to take in that and just be coachable as much as possible.
Destiny, thank you for your time. We appreciate
Thank
safe
you so
travels
much.
home, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations, Destiny.
Thank you.
Destiny Henderson, the junior, comes up with 20 points. That's her best in an SEC game. She had the 8 rebounds and the 5 assists as you take a look at the final numbers. And it's worth mentioning again that South Carolina got on the glass early, Tamika, and they just kept it going with 26 offensive rebounds, 46 points in the paint.
Yeah, South Carolina, they came right out, and that was something that they focused on from the beginning. They got offensively, they got up and down the floor, but definitely getting on the board, that is where they excel. I mean, they come in, they're plus 18 on the board total. Offensive rebound, they just attacked the basket. Alabama did not have an answer for them.
So South Carolina improves to 2-0 in the SEC. Setback for Alabama, but this is a team that's played well. When you look back to last year, tonight wasn't their night. What are some of the areas that you're focusing on, Tamika, for Alabama as they try to get going here, try to bounce back and get into the teeth of conference play?
Well, I think the biggest thing for Alabama, they have got to figure out how to rebound out of their zone. That's something Coach Curry, when we talked to her earlier this week, she said, we've got to make sure that we box out. South Carolina, we know what they like to do, but I think not just for the South Carolina team, this is just in general down the stretch. They are going to play that matchup zone. They are so good, solid on that matchup zone. What they have got to figure out is how to finish the play, box out, secure the ball, and then it allows them to run on their fast break.
What are some of the areas that South Carolina, I know that Dawn Staley says they're under construction on offense and defense, but in your eyes, what are some of the areas that they need to work on here in the weeks ahead?
Well, I think South Carolina, they just have to stay consistent for 40 minutes. That's what we're used to seeing when South Carolina comes out. They play from the beginning all the way to the end. That's what Dawn's expectation is. She wants them to be at their best. You heard Destiny Henderson say, I don't mind because I want to play and be the best player that I can be. Dawn wants to have great teams, and that's what she focused on. Every day we come out, we've got to operate at such a high level.
So here's what's ahead for South Carolina. They take on a Georgia team that's very good, and then at Kentucky. That'll be a great matchup with Vandy, Arkansas, and LSU to follow. Looking ahead to Thursday night on the SEC Network, we'll have a great doubleheader. Game 1, it'll be the return of Tennessee to the court after their COVID pause. They'll take on Arkansas. And then Tamika and I are looking forward to Texas A&M taking on Kentucky. That should be a great one considering where Kentucky is right now. For the Crimson Tide, they'll have LSU and Vanderbilt on their schedule for their next 2 games before they make the trip to Starkville to take on Mississippi State. Obviously, everything is subject to change. We have seen that over the last several weeks, but knocking on wood here, Tamika, knock on wood. It was a pretty quiet Monday as far as scheduling and what's happening, so let's hope for a quiet Tuesday and Wednesday and that the schedule stays where it is right now. Been our pleasure to bring you this tonight. Alabama and South Carolina. It goes to the Gamecocks, 77-60 the final. For Tamika Catchings and our entire crew, I'm Eric Frade. Have a great night.